Okay, I want to welcome everyone to what might be the world's slowest video log. This will be your semi-decadal update to my quest to create a homebrew Palm Pilot replacement, which I'm hoping might help me address some of my absent-minded professor characteristics and kind of keep me on track. But of course, as an absent-minded professor, this is going to be full of incomplete ideas, randomness, distractions, that sort of thing. In my defense, the project isn't done, so a cure is probably an unreasonable expectation. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about, I liked the task list in the Palm Pilot, and that's one of the things I'm trying to recreate. So this list here is a set of tasks that I'm going to complete during the course of the video. The software behind the scenes for this is all new this time. I'm not going to show it because I think it's boring, but it's Spring Boot, it's Cassandra, it's Camel, it's AngularJS, because I built a couple web pages for it, but they look pretty bad, and I'm not going to show them because, I just want to make sure people keep their lunch. Anyway, so last time I had this Arduino-based breadboarded thing, not the most, portable or unit in the world, but it kind of worked. Now I have, I gotta put the camera on it, this kind of boxed up thing, which you can see syncing tasks right here. That's the same tasks as are over here. I can navigate around, I can select the Tupperware task, I can mark it for completion, and you should see there it goes off the list. This is a working portable version, which I've actually used a little bit around the house. And at this point I want to say to any Apple hardware engineers out there, I know this is awesome, but I have a day job. I'm okay for now, but thanks. I'll keep you in mind. Anyway, so on the Arduino platform, somebody decided that they would build a Game Boy, a game console for it, and you can play some cute little games on it. It's kind of fun. That's this thing right here. This is a little credit card size. It's actually kind of professional looking, but I turn it on and tasks appear on it right away. It's a little bit hard to see in focus, but you can complete tasks on the thing, and it works kind of nice. If you want to see it in focus, I took a picture to see this is what the tasks look like. Arduinos have no computing resources. 32K for the program, 2.5K for RAM, and 1K for effectively the hard disk. And there is no radio. So all the updates have to happen over serial cables, which the original Palm Pilot had, so I didn't think that was going to be so bad. Anyway, after the Arduino, there is a gaming platform called ESP32. It's a microprocessor platform. It has a little more in terms of CPU performance, a little more RAM, and importantly, it has radios. And again, people are building these things that they mistakenly believe are handheld game devices. So the first one I picked up was the Pocket Sprite, because wouldn't it be cool to have a Palm Pilot just jam in your pocket nice and small? And this is it. This was probably too small. This thing's the size of my thumb. So and the buttons on it they're just painful. So I left this in game mode. I didn't really like how that one came out really at all. But after it, somebody built this thing called an Odroid Go, which is roughly the same idea, and it's an ESP32 game platform. The games actually work, the few I've tried work pretty well. The buttons work pretty well. It's bigger, so the screen's bigger, the buttons are bigger. You can actually sort of use it without being an ant. And you can see on it, it'll turn on my Palm Pilot mode, it'll sync all of the devices from the server. And I can click down here to the Odroid Go task, and I should be able to complete that. And it comes off the device, and it should come off the list of tasks over there. So that's kind of working. Looking at this task list, I forgot to check off the Ardu Boy, because like I said, that's over serial, and Pocket Sprite I didn't build anything for. But the next one, this is the Odroid in focus, just showing you the tasks and what the screen looks like when it's in focus. Then there's this other ESP32 device called an M5 stack. It has a keyboard, which is kind of cool. So that's this guy, and you can hear the keys are a little tough to work with, but you can turn it on, and it will. Yes, it did. I'll turn it on, and it'll sync down my tasks, and I can say that M5 stack task up there. Let's go ahead and complete that, and that should sync up to the rest of the devices or rest of the programs. And this should be there's a yeah. Anyway, so after the the Palm Pilots, I kind of got on this Internet of Things kick, I guess you would say. And one of my absent-minded professor things is you need to remember to empty the washer and empty the dryer. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could throw some vibration sensors on them and get an alert when those things are done running? And that's the data from this. This is the washer running a couple of times. This is the dryer running in yellow down here. These are the dryer vibrations. This right here, though, is a huge problem. My dryer vibrates more when the washer's running, just because it's next to the thing, than when the dryer's running. So it's actually really hard to sort out what is happening and send effective alerts. So this is kind of a dead-end project. Then I started thinking about maybe I can fix the laptop drive of shame. This is where you get to work and you realize your laptop's still at home. You have to go back and get it. So there's these things called alt beacons, or these little Bluetooth low energy things that just broadcast presence. Here I am all the time. And I threw one in my car, and this is my car away from the house. This is my car now back at the house and went away again. I put one in my laptop bag, so this red line is the laptop coming back with the car to the house, and then when I do this errand in the car, the laptop stayed here. And this data looks actually pretty good. I can almost start to think about alerting that, if on a workday morning the car leaves without the laptop, I could send myself a notice. But then my data starts to look like this. I haven't figured out why, but every once in a while, you just get these random dropouts, and it really makes identifying when you need to alert about the laptop drive of shame and not just be a complete false alarm machine. Yeah, that's another kind of failed project. But I had all this infrastructure in place and what to do with it. And around now, my toilet started to act up where like the toilet tank would drain and it wouldn't refill and it would just keep running. So, sure, I could go to the hardware store for a couple bucks, fix it, and never have a problem again. But that is not the Internet of Things way to go about it. And instead, what you do is you get a little depth sensor thing, a little bit like this one, that tells you how deep some water is. You put that in your toilet tank. You put this little Arduino and radio, and this is the wire going back to the toilet, and this is actually some toilet paper sitting on the top there, and you can get a sense of what is in fact going on in your toilet. So hopefully you can hear what's going on back there, and I can go to my list of devices. I can go to events for the devices, and you see here I've got high water, high water, high water, and then I've got mid-level and low-level water. The toilet's flushing. This is something you need to alert people about. So this is my chat messenger sending a message that says, hey, the toilet's flushing. You might want to make sure it doesn't continue to do that. And as you see events come in, now you see a mid-level water report here, so the tank is in fact starting to refill. Things will be fine. It's not going to stay running, but I guess you could just sit and watch the thing, but now and you get a few more data at the mid-level point, and eventually it pops up at a high level and sends a note that says, oh, the toilet's back to idle, everything's fine. If you've sometimes heard the Internet of Things referred to as the Internet of Shit, well, yeah, that's I built that. Anyway, so other stuff. Getting back to Palm Pilot, the microcontroller platforms, the Arduino and the ESP32s, are fine, but they're a little low powered and they don't even have an operating system to them, so they're kind of tough to do stuff with. There started to become available these single board computers that run Linux, and they're really, the cheap ones, the ones that I want to play with, are really low powered things, and they can kind of run a graphical environment, but you really probably just shouldn't. So if you want something that's fast and responsive on really low power Linux machines, this ncurses library, you just push characters around. That's it. That's all you expect out of it. You don't need the graphical layer, and you can make some things that work reasonably well. The first device that I have with this is this thing called the Pocket Sprite. These guys are out of business, unfortunately, but they built a handheld single board computer. That's this guy right here, and you can see on it. Let me send that back to the same. This is showing the same program over here that I've been showing the whole video. This is the ncurses application. This is just pushing characters on a screen. And even on this tiny little device, you can navigate around. You can select I can check off the washer dryer on here. I can check off the alt beacons because I showed those. I did a demo flush, I can check that off. And I can check off the pocket chip. Oops, I gotta press the right button. Demoing this thing working kind of nicely. So that was kind of a neat thing, a little bit big, a little bit bulky, but it worked. Here's a Raspberry Pi I have. This is an old Pi. I slapped, I think that's a 4-inch screen. You slap on top of it, and this is suspended over my desktop PC. So this is the top of the monitors to my desktop, and here I have my little to-do list program running on top there, so that no matter what I'm doing on the computer, I can see what's going on. In this video, I'm in the bedroom because I want it to be near the toilet, but I have the, this is a 40-something inch TV back here, which I have a little Linux computer on to watch videos, but you can also turn it into a Palm Pilot, so if you've watched these, tasks will change when the rest of them change because it's in Palm Pilot mode right there. Another Raspberry Pi device that somebody built is this thing called a Smarty Pi, and it is, kind of this actually doesn't look too bad. Not so bad to have hanging around your house, and it runs the same program that I've been running everywhere else, so I can navigate around in this guy and say, hey, on the Smarty Pi, let me complete that task. Everything will sync up, so I can have little devices in different rooms with my to-do list on it as I walk from room to room and forget what the hell's going on. Okay, the Noodle Pi, that's somebody did a Kickstarter where the person designed with their 3D printer a case for a screen and a Raspberry Pi Zero and a battery, just enough to get it all working, which is very Palm Pilot-like. So that's this device here. I have it plugged in because I forgot to charge it, but you can see the same program on here running as all the rest, and kind of a nice portable little device running on the Noodle Pi there. After the Noodle Pi, there's this is the Indiegogo campaign that I backed for a phone that was simultaneously, it would dual boot Android and Linux, and they kind of had me at Linux. So this is the phone here. It's really kind of big, but you can open it up. You got a nice physical keyboard, which I kind of like, and I can go, I didn't check off Noodle Pi. I can check off Noodle Pi on here, and then I can say, here's the Gemini PDA showing what it can do. So that actually will have, or can have, cellular radios connected in it, so if I want to bring my devices with me, I can, which is, all the rest are local Wi-Fi things, so that's kind of a nice improvement. This is my coin-operated box. So one of the things you might think is, aren't you wasting a lot of money buying all these absolutely ridiculous gadgets? And, that's legitimate concern. And the answer, of course, is to build another gadget. So I decided that I would try to limit my spending on this to spare change collected as you pay for money. So I got a few coins here, and I can put them in the box, and you'll see I've got pennies 532, nickels 144, and as I put coins in the gadget here, these numbers should start to update. Are they updating? No, they should be. Yeah, there's some update. So this is counting coins and what's going on, and I can look at my balance and see that's what I have to spend. Okay, so here's the CNET review. This is my last display I want to show. This is the Wise 55. This is this might be the pinnacle of low resource computing, and I will say it's kind of amazing what you can do with low resource computing. You compare it to a modern smartphone, and everything I've got here is absolutely ridiculously underpowered. But if you take away the graphical layers, and you take away the 3D nonsense, and you take away the ads and the surveillance, you can actually get some neat stuff done and neat stuff to work. And this is kind of the pinnacle of that. This is, in fact, this device was built, the date tag on it says December 1999. So on here, this is showing this is a serial terminal. So there's a Raspberry Pi over there, and I've got a serial cable that's pushing characters to it. There's really no smarts in this thing at all, but it's enough to show my little program. And before I complete, I want to show, I forgot to show the pigeon stuff. I do all the communication over XMPP, where I didn't want to run a web server from my house because it seemed like a security trap. But you can run a chat server and send all your messages over that. So I can say things like, let me list my tasks, and I can see pigeon and the Y is in the end. I can complete a task if I can type. Complete task 1, and you'll see the pigeon come up, and everything else should be syncing to keep up with it slowly. Oh, I gotta put this guy back. I gotta put him back on task mode. There we go. So that the pigeon task is gone. Anyway, so to finish talking about the wise thing, I think the other thing about this is you have to admit I've reached the peak of low resource, light, flat design. And flat design is all the rage in the web these days, where you don't want any ugly skeuomorphism, any extraneous distracting 3D effects. You don't want too many fonts. You don't want too many colors. Monochrome is kind of good. And you look at it and you have no clue how to interact with the thing at all. That seems to, you want to keep that a secret in flat design. And that's what this thing can do. Anyway, so this is, I guess, making a little bit fun of the flat design people. But on here I can complete that task. This is a little bit slow. I send the refresh event too many times, and I don't need to, but I just haven't fixed it yet. But there it is. I selected the task. I've completed the task, and now we're back to the end. So yeah, that's the end of the video, and thanks for watching.